Welcome back. Today we're going to discuss the WHA's 73-74 season. And I'm wearing a hat of a band that I like because I don't have a Cleveland Crusaders hat, and I figured, oh, the league's dead, and two hockey teams died in Cleveland that same decade, so all right, dead's it is. Now, if you liked moving trucks, the WHA was your league. And it really shows in Season 2. And I know when you're getting a league started, there's a lot of uncertainty. But it makes it harder to sign players. When you're like, all right, we'd like to sign you to a 3-year contract. Okay, so here where it says the team name, there's no city. Yeah, we don't have one right now, but we're working on it. And where are you going? So we get some of the same teams that are pretty darn good, right? And Gordie Howe's come out of retirement to play with his kids, so that's big news. And the crowds are actually pretty good for WHA games. We would get crowds as high as almost 18,000 for playoff games. So people are showing up. There are fans in attendance. The New England Whalers would lead their division, 43-31-4, 90 points. The Toronto Toros, their first season, they go 41-33-4 for 86 points. The Cleveland Crusaders, this team right here, backed by Jerry Cheevers, they go 37-32-9 for 83 points. And the Chicago Cougars, asterisk there because they got moved to the East. I want to make sure I mentioned that in this video. I didn't forget. Chicago moves to the East. 38-35-5, 81 points. The Quebec Nordiques, who again missed the playoffs 2 years in a row for them. 38-36-4, 80 points. The New York Golden Blades. Remember they were the New York Raiders in year 1? They become the New York Golden Blades in year 2. They become the New Jersey Knights during this season. 32-42-4, 68 points, and I will come back and talk about that because it kind of encapsulates the problem for this league. They moved 24 games into the season. The Houston Aeros lead the West, 48-25-5 for 101 points. Minnesota Fighting Saints, 44-32-2, 90 points. The Edmonton Oilers, 38-37-3, 79 points. And the Winnipeg Jets, 34-39-5 for 73 points. And then the bad teams. The Vancouver Blazers, 27-50-1, 55 points. What is it with Vancouver? And then the LA Sharks, 25-53 for 50 points. And while the Sharks were drawing pretty well in year 1, by the end of year 2, not so much, and things would change. In the playoffs, Chicago takes out New England in the first round in 7. Nice upset for the Chicago Cougars. The Toronto Toros would knock out these guys, Cleveland, 4-1. And then Chicago beats Toronto 4-3 in the Eastern Finals. And then out west, Houston beats Winnipeg 4 games straight. Minnesota beats Edmonton in 5. And then Houston would beat Minnesota in 6. In the finals, Houston sweeps Chicago 3-2 in the first game, 6-1 in the second, 7-4 in the third, 6-2 in the fourth game. So for Chicago, nice gutsy run until Houston crushed them. And again, Houston had this guy named Gordie Howe on the team, so he wins the Avco Cup this year. Good for him. And he does that with his kids. Now, the leading scorer is worthy of a video of his own. And this is one of the reasons why I love doing historical videos, because I get to players and I go, oh, I've got to do a video on that guy. And Mike Walton does deserve a video. He would end up playing for Vancouver for the Canucks as well. 78 games played, 57 goals, 60 assists, 117 points for Minnesota. He's their leading scorer. Andre Lacroix, 78 games, 31 goals, 80 assists, 111 points, playing for New York and New Jersey. Keep in mind that's the same team. Gordie Howe, 76 games played, 31 goals, 69 assists, 100 points for Houston. Not bad for a guy who'd been sitting in retirement, 100 points for him. Wayne Connolly, 78 games, 42 goals, 53 assists, 95 points for Minnesota, playing with Walton. And Bobby Hull, 75 games, 53 goals, 42 assists, 95 points for Winnipeg. But Winnipeg, disappointing season, disappointing results in the playoffs. I can only assume somehow Gary Bettman back in the 70s was working his damnable magic on the Canadian teams, because there's no Canadians in that finals. Don McLeod, 33-13-3, 911 save percentage for Houston. So if you're wondering who's Don McLeod, he was the number 1 goaltender in the league. Jerry Cheevers, 30-20-6, 906 save percentage for Cleveland. Al Smith, 30-21-2, with a 895 save percentage for New England. Cam Newton, and I saw that name and I went, I didn't know he was that old. And I know it's not the same Cam Newton, but I just, anyways. 25, 18, and 2, 894 save percentage playing for Chicago. Of course, now he's in New England. Jack Norris, 23, 24, and 1, 898 save percentage for Edmonton. So that was interesting. I thought, yeah, I'll throw that in because Cam Newton, because why not? It's Cam Newton. That's weird, right? But it makes sense that there's more than one Cam Newton in the world. It's just kind of funny. October 18th of 1973, the Golden Blades are dissolved. They would be relocated November 23rd to New Jersey. Can you imagine your team being dissolved while you still have games on the schedule? You're still playing. It's not like they played fewer games. And you're going out there wearing your Golden Blades jerseys, which I can only assume are beautiful jerseys. And you're wondering what the heck's going to happen. So are we done or what? You're the Montreal Wanderers minus your building burning down. Your franchise is burned down and you're waiting to be relocated. So that's over a month in between. So I can forgive them for falling off and not ending up in the playoffs. October 29th, 1973, Gary Davidson resigns as WHA president. He figures, I've got some conflicts in here. I'm stepping down. So you've had a team move. Well, a team dissolved. It hasn't moved yet. Now your president stepped down. There are a lot of red flags around this league, but as I've said, the W stands for fun. November 18th, 1973, it's the first time that all three Hows combine on a goal. It's in Quebec City, and it's an 8-3 win by Quebec. So Quebec had to ruin that, so of course they did. And so all three Hows combine on a goal. That's Marty, Mark, and Gordie, of course. November 23rd, so the same day that the Golden Blades are moved to New Jersey to become the Knights. Dennis A. Murphy assumes the interim role as president. He leaves his president's role with the Sharks. So the LA Sharks now are looking for a new guy, and he is the guy that co-founded the league. So he's stepping in to try to, shore things up. Gary Davidson resigned almost a month before this. There's a lack of either a lack of communication or a lack of planning involved with this. In that as soon as one guy steps out as president, you have to have somebody else step in. And he's stepping in not to take over, but as interim. So he's stepping in the interim. And it took a month to get that. February 19th of 1974, the NHL and the WHA, who went to court. The NHL wants to fight this whole, you're touching our players, they're reserved, they're for us. Our owners own them. And the WHA is like, you do not own people. So they reach an out-of-court settlement. The NHL agrees to drop the reserve clause, which is a huge win for the players. The NHLPA can do backflips over this. And then the NHL also has to pay $1.7 million in legal fees for the WHA as well. So the NHL loses right, left, and center. And if you thought the owners hated the WHA before, when they lose a court case, the NHL gets angrier with them. So this is where things are pretty contentious between the NHL and the WHA. And of course, again, if you're looking at this from an outsider's perspective, you're thinking, well, there's no stability. There's a lot of fun. There's no control over wages, over the players, over where they're going to play. Once contract runs out, guys can choose where they want to go. That's insanity. This league's going to die. So the NHL's just waiting for it. February 23rd, the Whalers announced they're moving from Boston to Hartford. So they've been playing in Boston the whole time, thus the New England Whalers, not the Boston Whalers. And Cincinnati, who had been awarded an expansion team the year before, they named the team a year later. They name it the Stingers. So what we went through with Seattle, apparently the WHA started that, where sometimes it takes a long time to name the team. April 11th, new LA owners step in. All right, the LA Sharks get new owners. And they announced they're moving the team to Detroit, and it'll be called the Michigan Stags. It sounds highly inappropriate. I'm just saying. It sounds highly inappropriate. From the Sharks to the Stags. Okie dokie. And it's the 70s. So you've got to think there's shag carpeting all over that locker room. There has to be. If there's not, I'm disappointed. April 30th, the Knights transferred to San Diego, and they named them the Mariners. Because why not? The San Diego Mariners. So, let's review. The New York Golden Blades, dissolved, dead. A month later, moved to New Jersey, finish out the season, miss the playoffs, and then in the offseason, they're moved to San Diego. Because of course they are. And this is the wonders of trying to follow the WHA and trying to figure out, okay, who was what, where, what happened. This is part of the reason why before this series, I've kind of looked at the WHA as, well, that was cute, but I don't have the energy because teams moved so much. There were so many different franchises. This is why I don't bother trying to collect all the jerseys, because good luck. A, good luck finding some of them, and B, you could make up a team and I'd be 50-50 on whether or not it existed. What's the name of that team? Roanoke Honey Badgers. I don't think that was a team in the WHA, but I can't prove there wasn't. The New Orleans Plungers. Pretty sure that's a made-up name, but it's the WHA. So is it? So yeah. The Knights transfer to San Diego, and then June 19th, because they love NHL veterans, Frank Mahovlich signs with the Toronto Toros. It's something you do with these veteran players to bring people in and to bring in interest and to add respectability to your league. It's the same reason why wrestling companies will bring in veterans. Older wrestlers go, look what we got. And it worked relatively well for the WHA. Like I said, there were fans in attendance, but you knew this wasn't the NHL. There was no, well, it's a lot like the NHL. This was definitely a step below in terms of the overall play. September, the WHA decides to try to compete with what the NHL did. They're going to play the Soviets. So they play the Soviets in an 8-game series. You know what? I'm going to give them a pass here. They get 1 win, 4 losses, and 3 ties. This is the Soviets. This is a team that is intimidatingly good. And if not for a massive comeback in 72, Canada would have got whooped by them too. So, yeah, I'm going to give him a pass on that. Mike Walton, notable here, is that he would represent Team Canada and would be singled out as a disappointment for Canada wearing the Team Canada jersey, which I think is a shame, but I will throw that into a video on Mike Walton soon. So, yeah, there you go. The 73-74 Let's Move Everybody season. I know Vancouver doesn't stay in Vancouver either. I know the Blazers leave Vancouver. And like I said, we've already got a lot of teams that have been moved and changed names and all of this, and that's going to continue. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And this is the series of fun. That's what this playlist is. It's all about the fun. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.